Welcome to the Funny Money YouTube show. I'm Dominic Syracuse.
It took you 15 shows.
15 shows.
To realize this is not a podcast.
It's a show.
That's okay. I feel like I'm talking to my grandpa. That's okay.
That's the problem. Listen, there are a lot of things in life. Technology is one that I just become an old man. I'm like, how does this work? What button do I press? Okay. No. But on top of learning the difference between a podcast and a video, during this series, I'm an actor and a stand-up comedian. I've been learning about money, which is something that not just the artistic world seems to be a little bit devoid of, a lot of starving artists out there, but just people in general seem to be very financially illiterate.
Yep. Unfortunately,
I am in the studio with one of the most financially literate human beings on earth.
Okay.
And here's the thing. If you go back and watch all the previous episodes of Funny Money, I learn something amazing each and every time about how to handle money, about the best ways to use money, about how to use myself to make money. But the biggest secret that you have, the big golden nugget of information is what you wrote your book about. It's called the and asset. I'll put it up so people can see. The and asset. And I'll say, for as long as we've been friends, for as long as you've been helping me out with learning about finances, you've yet to teach me the and asset. So we're going to learn about that.
This is new for Dom.
Now.
And this is what I'll say is I really appreciate you teeing me up. And I also think that in anything that you do with your money, we have to talk about the basics. And one of the things that for you is like, we got to get clarity. We have to like help you make more money. We have to help you be more efficient. We have to knock out some bad debt. And so the and asset is not like a one size fits all big time solution, but in this video, and it's really going to be a series of two videos where I'm going to talk about whiteboard, and then we're going to actually go into some math.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to you about why I'm such a believer in this and asset strategy, and why I believe whether you're broke or you have a lot of money, that this is the direction that you need to be facing, or you're looking as it relates to helping you with money. And my hope is that you'll understand why, because it makes a ton of sense, especially off the principles that we talked about. By the way, we talked about our 4 principles in videos ahead. We talked about opportunity cost.
Right.
We talked about inflation. We talked about good debt versus bad debt. Like, we talked about a lot of things that I think are really, like, they all feed into what I'm about to share with you guys.
Excellent.
And it's going to be good. And I also like that you've never seen this presentation.
Right.
Because
I've never seen it.
I want you to be critical. I want you to ask questions. I want you to, like, just imagine for the moment if, like, can you see yourself, doing this? Absolutely.
I'm excited. Once again, you as the viewer are going to learn along with me in real time. So I'm super excited about it. I just want to dive in. Can we just dive right in?
Yeah, we can.
All right, let's go.
All right, so you can see my screen, and when I sit down with somebody, the first thing that I do is talk about the 4 principles. And so if you watched our video, this is going to be a review for you, but our 4 principles are essentially this. First principle is number 1, getting super clear on who you are, getting really clear on what results that you want. We talk about ROR, standing for return on result. We want to be self-aware on where you're at, and ultimately we want to understand that you are your number 1 asset, and which means that you have value, and we want to optimize and maximize that asset as an individual.
Absolutely.
Okay? Second thing that we do is we take $1 and I draw an O for optimize. We want to look at your cash flow. We want to look at your assets. And we want to look at your debts and ask the question, how can we optimize this, be efficient with what you currently have to help you best live the life that you want?
Yes.
The reason why we haven't talked about the and asset to date is you're in this stage. You're really figuring out how to make more money, and we're helping you be more efficient.
Exactly.
And the and asset in my book is essentially what you do with your money. When you have money, what is the best place to put it, use it, how to think about it. And I think this is going to make a lot of sense as we delve into this. Okay?
Absolutely.
So the third principle is all about consistency. Remember we talked about C squared. Compounding.
Yep.
And control. And this is where the and asset comes in. I'm going to draw a little box. And the goal is we want to maintain full control over our money, but we want to grow it the rest of your life.
Right.
And then finally, with our capital, we want to best use our money. When people ask, where should I invest my money?
Right.
Invest or use your money in a way that will help you get results.
Yes.
I know it sounds like cliche, but this could be real estate. This could be investing in the market. This could be investing in your business. And if you don't know and you don't care, go to a financial advisor and you'll pay them a percentage to invest your money. It's maybe not the best way, but it's better than putting your money in a bank account.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So just like the ideas of this are endless, but the idea is we want to use our money. How do we want to use our money? Ultimately, we want to use our money to get results.
Absolutely.
Okay. Be clear, be efficient, be consistent, long-term, short-term, get results. Okay?
Yep.
So, the and asset. What is the and asset? The and asset is a special type of overfunded life insurance. Now, what I love about this is you have no idea what I just said. Yeah. Okay. So, let's do a life insurance lesson 101 because when I talk about whole life, when I talk about overfunding, a lot of this stuff gets really confusing.
Right.
Okay? Like we have no clue what we're talking about. So, I'm going to draw you, Dom. And I know you have a kid.
That's me. Yep.
Okay. And so we're going to draw.
Okay. Hold on. I just have to make this more grammatic. I have to make this more correct. Hang on. There's my big nose. That's my nose. And then here's my cool hair.
All right.
And then my son's got really stringy hair. And he's probably complaining about something that I'm doing
probably complaining
wrong.
And probably crawling on your back.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. There we go.
So Life Insurance 101 is saying if something happens to you, you may have debt. You want to make sure that your son's taken care of.
Yep.
You don't want to be a burden. And ultimately, you want to, not be a burden to the people that you
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. I don't want, if I pass away, for them to have to, handle all those expenses and things like that.
We also can see that if you're making $50,000 a year over your lifetime, your earning potential is in the millions. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So what we can say, Life Insurance 101 is saying you should get something that if something happens to you, you'll have enough money to pay for your kid's college, pay for your debt, and it will represent the loss of what you would have made if you were living.
Got it.
I know it's kind of financial, but the idea is insurance is all about making up for the loss of what it's the risk of what could have happened
to steal from one of my heroes, Chris Rock. He said insurance should just be called in case stuff. Right?
Yeah,
you
good.
put money in case stuff happens.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So let's say for this example, you're going to get a $3 million life insurance.
Sounds great.
That for you. That's probably about as much money as we could get today.
Right, today, based off what I have right now.
Yeah, because the insurance companies, as messed up as it sounds, doesn't want you to be incentivized to have to kill you. If you had $30 million, you'd be like, oh.
Exactly.
No.
And I also plan on getting married one day, and I don't want my wife to realize I'm worth so much more dead. Especially with as annoying as I am to be.
Yeah, that could end up on the wrong side.
It could be bad.
Okay, so there's a minimum that you can pay for this $3 million.
Yep.
And there's a maximum.
Okay.
Okay, this is just philosophy because when I talk about life insurance, we go, I've heard life insurance is the worst place to put your money. You have people like Dave Ramsey that says, and I like Dave Ramsey by the way, but he says it's the worst place to put your money. I want to give context on why I personally save over 6 figures a year into life insurance.
Wow.
Okay. I believe in this stuff, and there's a reason why we're able to build wealth.
Okay.
Is we run money through this system.
Okay. So right away, of course, my question is we're putting a bunch of money at this point of the stage into. I guess my question would be, why would you put so much money into something you're not going to get until after you die?
Well, we're gonna break that down.
Let's break it down.
Okay. So we're going back to the $3 million. Okay. So if something happens to you, this contract will make the insurance company pay $3 million.
Right.
Okay. And there's a minimum that you can pay for that.
Right.
There's a maximum that you can pay for that.
Great.
Okay. So let's say just for fun, let's say the minimum per year is $700.
Okay.
And let's say the maximum is $70,000.
Ooh. All right, that's a big spread.
So, real quick, if you had to pick between minimum or max, what would you pick?
Right now, where I'm at right now, I'd do the minimum.
Yep, minimum. The reason is, if all we're talking about is the death benefit,
right.
and this, we would want to pay as little as possible for this.
Right.
Now,
I'd go even further and say, why would I dare spend $70,000 a year when I could be spending $700 for the same thing?
Cost.
Right.
And so what you would get in this scenario is a term insurance, which term insurance is essentially, it's like you're renting life insurance for a certain period of time and saying, during this term, if something happens to you, we're on the hook for this, and after it's gone, the money's gone. Okay.
Right.
Now the maximum would be what would be called permanent, and this would be like, this is going to last your entire life, and you're going to build something called cash value.
Got it.
Okay. Now, in the field of life insurance, there's a range between the minimum and maximum. Okay, and I'm just writing different dots.
Sure.
Because there's different strategies and different people that could design stuff for you.
Okay.
I want to be very clear when we're talking about overfunded life insurance, when we're talking about the and asset, what we're doing is we are designing with life insurance because some of the tax benefits that I'll get into, but we are reverse engineering and maximizing the amount of money, and we're getting the least amount of insurance. Okay. So we're not talking about coverage is important, but the and asset has nothing to do with how much money you should have so if something happens to you, like you'll be fine.
Right.
It's everything to do with maximizing efficiency. So what I'm going to do is, the goal here is to minimize your insurance.
Okay.
And it's to maximize your cash.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially what we're doing is we're saying, what we want to do in designing an and asset is we want to put as much money in as possible and get the least amount of insurance, because what we get to do is we get the most amount of money working for us. Because this is the insurance cost, but money that's in addition to the insurance cost is going to go and start building equity and building value for us.
Okay, how so?
Okay, so is this making sense so far?
So far I get it,
okay. Okay, so this is you. If we wanted extra life insurance, we would get the cheap stuff.
Right.
If we're building equity, if we're building for the future, we want to design it in such a way where we're maxing cash and minimizing insurance. Okay. So when you do that, you have something called cash value.
Okay.
And cash value is the kind of money that's growing in your policy and your plan that, is growing for the future. Now, the cool thing about this is this money in your life insurance plan is growing for the rest of your life.
Really?
Okay, lifetime growth. Now, lifetime. So one of the cool things is we know the difference between short-term, medium-term, and long-term growth. We had a video that we talked about compound growth over 60 years.
Yeah,
it's a huge
it's
difference.
nuts. It's not, and that's off of a one-time thing.
Right. The other thing that we need to talk about is the tax benefits of just these plans. These plans, your money once put in will grow tax-free. You can use that money tax-free, and you can pass it on to your kids tax-free.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Taxes, and we haven't done a video on this, and maybe we should. Taxes are a huge risk to people in general.
Right.
Like the government's ability to tax, and we could get political, and we're not, but like a big threat to your wealth is having your money being taken through taxation or increased taxes. Right. And so the cool thing about your money being in cash value is it will grow the rest of your life, but it also has special tax advantages. So it's not only going to grow the rest of your life, but it's going to grow tax advantage. You'll be able to access this money tax advantage. You'll be able to pass it on tax advantage.
Great.
Okay. But there's in my book I talk about 16 benefits.
Okay.
But the real benefit is, if you read this, The Secret Way to Save and Use Your Money at the Same Time.
Yes.
The cool thing, and I call this controlled compounding, is you can utilize this cash value throughout your life, but your money can continue to grow.
Really?
Okay? Now, this is why I put so much money in, because I understand long-term.
Yes.
But I also understand controlling capital.
Okay.
And I understand if I can give $1 more than one job, I will win in the end.
Okay.
Okay, so let me explain. So we talk in my book, I talk about debtor, saver, and maximizer.
All right. Okay.
Remember when we were making decisions about how you purchase something? Well, a lot of people this represents just zero.
Yep.
A lot of people go into debt.
Yep.
and then they spend their entire life or their
just climbing out,
paying interest. They're paying interest.
Right.
Okay. Well, that spells interest, and then they go into debt again, and they pay it off.
Fighting.
And so what you find is your entire life you're slave to the system, and you're paying interest to get back down to zero.
Right.
What's interesting is savers also are a part of the system because they're delaying gratification. They're saving their money, and then they pay cash for the car.
Mm-hmm.
Then they save the
money. And it goes back down to zero.
They pay cash. They continue to save money. They're also on the hamster wheel. They're not paying any interest, but would you not say that they're losing interest?
Sure.
Because every time you spend $1, you don't just lose $1, but you lose what the dollar could earn you the rest of your life.
Right. We talk about that a lot.
We talk about this a lot. Is every decision you make has a consequence. This person's in the hole. They're never able to save, and they're paying interest. This person is losing interest, and so you think you feel good about yourself, but at the end of the day, you maybe spent less money to be broke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now here's where the and asset comes in. Is it allows you to take $1.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can take this $1 and it will grow the rest of your life. Compound growth.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But do you remember our greatest financial need? Talk about this all the time. Our greatest financial need is using money.
Right.
Okay. So in scenario 1 and scenario 2, we're buying things.
Okay.
Well, instead of just taking our money out like this and disrespecting the growth of our dollar.
Right.
We are we're borrowing against our money, which we're pretty much saying, I'm going to continue to let my money grow, and I'm going to borrow against it and pay it back over time. But instead of paying it back over time, my money's going to continue to be growing.
I see.
And life insurance, when set up and used properly, and it has to be set up and used properly. I can't stress this enough because a lot of people don't do this properly.
Yes.
But life insurance, when set up and used properly, is the only paper asset that will let your money grow the rest of your life and still give you access to use it, allowing $1 to do multiple things because it's continuing to grow till the day that you die.
Mm-hmm.
It will pass on to your family after you die, but it'll give you access to capital to invest in your business, pay off debt.
You're borrowing against it.
Yes, again, that's a good word. Against, not from.
Right. So let me.
I would say paying cash, you're borrowing from yourself.
Exactly. Okay. So can I just let me just see if I get this correct.
Yeah, this is great. And by the way, I want you all to know this is the first time Dom's seeing all this.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing all this. This is also the first time that I've taken the pen and I'm not going to use it to draw something stupid. Okay. So.
Did you want to show yourself?
Yep. Okay, so I'm here. So let me make sure I get what you're saying right. Now, I've lived in this way, which is the debtor.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've done is, this is zero money. I've gone into debt and climbed my way out, right? And then I just got back to zero.
Yep.
Now, you have the savers, which I thought I wanted to be, which is where this is the zero line. I might have saved, but eventually I go back to zero because I spend it, and then I go and then spend it, right? And I always thought saving was kind of weird because it's like at the end of your life, you saved all this money, but you never used it. You know, your options are either hoard it or go back to zero. Now, but what you're saying is I like the Maximizer because that sounds like a cool movie from the 80s. So the Maximizer's here. And what we're talking about is, so let's go back to what we were using back up here, using the $3 million policy. So what you're saying is, if I get a $3 million policy, bam, and I have the money to put in that $70,000 a month,
and
a year.
I want people to know that it could be 7.
It could be 7, right? But let's say I do the maximum amount of money. So let's say I'm putting in $70,000 a year. That means I have this much money in a year to borrow against, so that if I put in $70,000, I can then go, hey, I'd like $70,000,
right?
At least that much, and can get it back, right? And then but
your 70,000 is still continuing to grow.
It's still growing because the next year I'm going to put another 70,000 in.
Well, and I'm going to do something on the fly that I think is going to be really helpful.
Yes.
So let's do truth concepts here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's actually the computer restart. So what I'm going to do on my phone, if you want to take us back, is I want to just say what would $70,000 do if we say $70,000 in our present value.
Okay.
Over, we're gonna we're gonna do 60 years.
Okay.
Because I just want people that this is a long-term strategy.
Long-term strategy.
So over 60 years.
Yeah.
60 years, and then we're gonna say a rate of return of 5%.
Okay.
Okay. The future value of that is 1.3 million. So going back to the board, so what we're saying is $70,000. If you, and this could be extreme, but if you pay cash for something, you don't pay any interest, but you could make the argument over 60 years that this $70,000 would be worth $1.3 million.
Yes.
So the way to do this is you could either pay cash or you could put it in a place that you could still borrow against it. You can still have access to the money, and there's still going to be interest associated to that.
Yeah.
But I would much rather pay $80,000 for the thing and know that my money is continuing to grow for the rest of my life. And someone could say, Caleb, why would you pay 80 when you could pay 70? All right, well, let's go back. If you pay 70, then you have no money, and now you're starting, you have no money after 5 years. You're starting at zero. So the point is, we finance everything we purchase.
I love that.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the and asset is the reason I put so much money in is I'm not giving up control over my money.
Right.
But it's truly is easier when you have money and you can create a system like this. You get your money to do multiple things for you. You can save a whole lot more money and still have access and control over it.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm really glad that you broke that down. And so one of the things, so let's talk about the cons to this.
Okay.
The con is early on when you start this, you don't have dollar for dollar access to your money.
Okay.
Meaning, you had the example, but $70,000, you can have access to 70.
Right.
A lot of times you can have access to 75, 85% of your money.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Which still is a whole lot better than most investments. A lot of investments you can't touch at all or you get penalized.
Well, I was about to say that because the reason I was interested in this is that I've had policies before or retirement things or whatever where they're like, you can't touch it for 7 years or you can't touch it for, you got to just keep putting money in and then you can't touch it until you're 60 or the taxes will destroy you or something like that.
So the number one thing is we just have to understand that it takes a couple years to break even, which again, we're playing a long-term game. That does not matter unless you need every single dollar. And we talk about emergencies versus opportunities. It's another video that we need to do. And it's just really important to have that fundamental understanding.
Right.
The other con is this strategy doesn't necessarily work super well if you don't have at least $10,000 to put in.
Okay.
Which I know is for most of people watching this, it could be wow, that's a lot of money. The good news is we have pre-plans that we can help you with, and you can save up maybe a year or two before you have that $10,000 and do what's called a front load. We're not going to get into that today, but there's other strategies. So if you're watching this and going $10,000 is not attainable at all, maybe that's where you're at. We can create a plan today to help you be able to do this in the future. What I'm not willing to do is I'm not willing to I want this to be the right thing for you, and unfortunately, if you don't have $10,000 to put in, it just does not. It becomes not super beneficial for you.
Okay.
So those are the two cons.
Okay.
So you need some money to start, and you don't have dollar for dollar access when you first start. But essentially, what you have going on is you have this amazing plan that's continuing to grow your money, and you have access to that money, and it's just this wonderful thing.
Right.
Okay. So let's just use this example. Let's say this is you.
Yep.
Okay. And let's say you're putting money, you've created a plan like this and you want to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
So we get super clear on what results you want. We have in that video, we have a lot of videos about this. So you're putting money. Well, you put your money in a lot of things. You put your money in 401k, all these things, and all they're promising you is some future growth rate. Or you could put your money in a savings account that gives you 0% interest.
Right.
And I would say the and asset gives you the best of both.
Excellent.
So you put your money in the and asset, and we get to calculate what that's going to be for the rest of your life, lifetime growth. Okay. And by the way, this is just a simple compound interest calculation. It's beautiful.
Wow.
It's great.
So it's the same as before, about the $10,000 example.
But you continue to add, and
so
it
now,
just becomes exponential.
Yeah, now it's not just compound; it's compound on compound on compound on. It just kind of keeps growing.
The second thing that we do is all about helping you control your money, and so
hey, that looks familiar.
Control and use. So the next thing that I would say is, okay, what things short term are you going to invest your money in? Maybe this sounds familiar. What asset-based activities can you do with your time, your money, and your talent to help you get the kind of results that you want? You don't have to wait till you're 65. You can start living your life now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Are you starting to see the power of this?
Yes.
You take $1, and this dollar will grow for you the rest of your life. But you also take this capital and know that this capital can ultimately invest in things that you care about today that could also increase your ability to give you more money to save.
Yes. So what you're saying is this. You're saying that, no, at least the way I looked at it, I had the option of either this or this.
Yes.
I had the option of either putting it in a 401k or some kind of retirement thing that I had to wait until retirement to get, or I could spend it now, right? Which would keep me like at this low thing. But being able, as we said, to borrow against it, that means that this is growing and I'm able to take from it now.
Yeah. So you get the conservative growth of long-term compounding.
Yes.
That's not going to change your life, but it's a powerful thing over time.
Right?
And you still get the control of using capital to invest in yourself.
So it's almost like a hybrid between a retirement investment and a savings account.
Yes, and it's, I like that. Hybrid is a really good word. And it's one of those things where it's not, a lot of people badmouth this because they just compare the growth and they say, Dom, 401k or your Roth or something else would give you a better rate of return.
Right.
And you understand that already that doesn't mean much because I'm showing you how to give your dollar one job and two jobs. Yeah. And of course, if we're just talking about one job, you want to get a best rate of return.
Right.
It's a really shallow way to think about it.
Right.
Okay, ready for more?
Mm-hmm.
So the third aspect.
Oh, there's more. Wow.
Is future cash flow.
Okay.
So in other words, what is the goal of climbing a mountain?
To get to the top.
A lot of people say get to the top, but if you get to the top and don't know how to get back down,
you're stuck on the mountain
you
forever.
Are dead on the mountain.
That's right.
And that's not the goal of climbing a mountain, Dom. Getting down safely.
Point.
So the point is, we want to help people get down safely. And what are the two threats when it comes to retirement? This is an example of retirement. A lot of people think all their life is working to get themselves to the top of the mountain. The problem is, you're at the top of your mountain. Congratulations, you're retired. Don't run out of money.
Right.
Two risks to retirement: taxes and losses.
Okay.
Guess what? The and asset eliminates both of these.
Are you serious?
And so whether you have a pension, whether you have stocks, whether you have all your money in the and asset can unlock your ability and give you more money and create more security and safety and certainty in the future.
Wow.
Okay, so the third thing that we do is we are giving you, by funding your and asset, we're giving you a more certain, solid future. Now, I can't, because this is big picture, I can't go into all the details, but that's huge.
That's gigantic.
At the same time, you're funding your and asset, you have lifetime growth, you have control over your money throughout your life. You know in the future you're going to be taken care of. That same dollar that's funding the and asset is protecting you and your money.
Really?
Because it's life insurance.
Right.
Yes, we overfund it, so we're not, that the main purpose of it is not life insurance.
Right.
But there's still a death benefit that says if something happens to you, you're going to have money that gets paid to your son, to the people that you care about, to charity, Right. So you're creating that legacy. There's also some riders in there that says, hey, if you get something like, if you get a illness, something bad happens, you can maybe pre-spend the death benefit, which is more than your cash, to make sure that you can leave well.
Wow.
So we talk about protection slash legacy.
That's amazing. Now let me ask you this question. Going back up here, so let's say I get the $3 million policy. Yep. And I'm putting in that. These are just imaginary numbers, but the 70,000 or whatever. And then the next year I put in another 70, and the next year I put in another 70, and it's this long-term growth. And then let's say I've done this for 10 years, and let's say I've got I've put in at this point whatever it might be.
$700,000.
Yeah, $700,000. And then let's say I'm able to access 85% of it.
Well, in 10 years, you'd be able to access all of it.
Okay. So great. So now I have access to $700,000. Let's say I'm you know what? I want to do this thing. I just got married. I want to go on my honeymoon.
Yep.
Okay. So then I'm going to, let's say I want to take out $25,000. I want to borrow $25,000 against the policy.
Yep.
Then does that, like, let's say I just decide, I don't want to pay that back in a rush or anything like that. And then let's say I die and I don't pay it back. Do they then just take the $25,000 out of the $3 million?
Yes.
So then my family would just get $3 million minus the $25,000.
Yeah, I was gonna see if you're gonna do math.
No, I've embarrassed myself before.
Yes, yeah. So
I've embarrassed myself before.
So what Dom's saying is, if you take a loan, and you die while taking that loan, your family or your whatever would get the death benefit minus the loan. So yes.
Great. And you know what? I already know. I don't know, but I already know my family will be fine off of $3 million minus $25,000.
Yeah,
I think they'll be able to make it.
And another thing, and we're not getting into all the details. When set up and used properly, your death benefit grows every year as well.
Well,
okay?
crap.
So the fourth area is, and I want you to understand.
How much more is there benefit to this?
This is the fifth. Okay, the fifth area is, can you not save more money in the system? Can you understand how you could save more money in a system like this?
Yeah.
Because you're not having to choose between one thing or the other.
Right.
You're not able to. You're not right. Early on, you actually shared this story is like you were struggling, and then you were still saving or investing your money in your retirement and your kids' college. You had no money.
Right, none.
This strategy, I hate to break it to you, would have helped in the future kids' college, but it would have also given you money to pay off your debt.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man. The reason I get so fired up about this is,
I would still have savings now.
Yes. We could help you with your money today with not punishing you for the future.
So we're talking about like, because if you go back and watch the episodes, you will have a great laugh hearing about, my how I was trapped in debt, how I was still saving for my son's future college and my retirement, but I wasn't. I couldn't access any of the money, and then also I was having to work all these crazy jobs. I couldn't invest a thing into myself. I couldn't save a thing. You're telling me I have a savings, essentially. There's savings.
Yeah.
Off that savings, without the savings going to zero, able to pay off those debts, and then also have potential like that the money in there for my son's college, the money in there for my retirement. Yeah. It's all.
And I just have to say, like, if you go to our website BetterWealth.com, you can check out the assessment, and you can see that there's a lot of people need to save a lot of money. So we need to create financial strategies to help them save a lot more.
Right.
Okay. And so if you want to go back, we want to help you save more. And I would just make the argument that you can save a whole lot more if you have access and use over it.
Yes.
And then finally, I am able to show up more powerfully in my life and build a better business because I don't have to worry about money. I can save it. I can save a lot more. I know it's growing for me long term, but I also know that I have an emergency reserve that if something happens, like, the company doesn't have to be taken out for, So I'm gonna talk about two other things that I think are important that I want to cover, but they could be, like, so far, if you're following with us, congratulations, you know more about money than most financial advisors.
Right.
And my hope is just to get this concepts out to more and more people.
Absolutely.
Okay? So in your and asset, you're saving money. There's two types of savings. There's emergency.
Yep.
And there's opportunity.
Okay.
Emergency it is really, really wise to save money for a rainy day. We are getting out of some crazy times, and there's a lot of people that never had this, and that became their stress of the pandemic was a lot greater than it should be because they had no emergency savings.
Right.
I recommend, by the way, in your policy to have 6 to 12 months of reserves to make sure that your life is covered. And I know this is a good goal. Now, the question I have for you watching this.
Sorry, I just want to clarify something real fast. Yep. Is that, if you're a business owner, is that 6 to 12 months of your business expenses?
I would say so.
Wow, okay.
Yep. And I have over a year's worth of reserves that I can pay every single person on my team. Now, it's not sitting at 0% in a savings account. It's sitting in an and asset. So I'm getting the best of both worlds, but I want to build my castle on a solid foundation. And even in doing the strategy is not like this magical thing. It's still the basics.
Right.
You want to build a solid emergency foundation. Okay. And then everything in addition to that is opportunity. And opportunity is investment opportunities, investing in yourself, investing. And early on, you just have to make the decision of like, okay, early on, you just have to understand that you might not have 6 to 12 months. You want to maybe invest a little bit in yourself. And so that's why we have coaching, and there's not one size fits all. But if I'm talking to somebody, I want to build up an emergency account, because you can agree, if you had an emergency account, you could then not have to worry about money at all and truly spend the time building your business.
Right.
But right now, you have to do some odd jobs just to make ends meet,
right,
to live your dream.
Right.
Okay? Opportunities is anything in addition to like actually getting you closer to the asset-based activity.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yes.
Remember when we talked about good debt and bad debt?
Yep.
Okay. So going back to like, this is you, and you're doing this system, so you're saving money, and you're putting it into a policy, and this money is in here, and it's growing over time, and it's just really, really good thing, and it's protecting you and all that good stuff. And then, let's say there's this thing. Okay?
Okay.
And let's say it's a vacation.
Yep.
And or car, or it could be a lot of different things, but like anything that we would talk about liability, that would actually be a negative thing. The common misconception is, by taking a loan, are you becoming wealthier or poorer?
By taking a loan, you're becoming poorer, right?
Yes, because there you have to pay 5% to the insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're getting is actually not helping you get anywhere closer to where you want to go.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you had to buy a car, lo and behold, this would have been a big thing for you if you were going to buy cars.
Yes.
Is if you had to buy a car, maybe the car is a necessary thing.
Yeah, I need it. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you can take a policy, take 5% loan, get that car, your money's continuing to grow, and what you're doing is you are paying back the insurance company that money while your money continues to grow.
Wow.
And so what you need to do is, when you're asking the question, can I afford a car? It's not how much money you have, but it's how much cash flow in addition you can pay back the loan.
I see.
So there's the necessary things, there's the bad things, and then there's the good investments. And this is where we want to get our clients, because if you're paying a 5% loan and you can earn, 12%, now your money's continuing to grow.
Yep.
The cost of capital is 5%.
Yep.
You're actually earning 12%.
Wow.
That's
great.
That's 140% rate of return on your money.
Wow.
Because you're not using your money, you're using the insurance company's money. Your money's continuing to grow.
This is a huge. This makes so much sense.
Yeah, and so the point that I'm trying to make here is like, the and asset. There's so much more. Like, I have a whole university. I have a ton of videos on this channel. I'm gonna be making a video on like how I use the and asset to actually pay for my Tesla. Wow. I want people to know like the economics behind that, and why that's like, clickbait one thing, but it's like, it's not necessarily a smart decision. But I want to show the mechanics of how it works.
Okay.
But I also want you to know, like, there's a lot here, and it all comes down to efficiency, and it all comes down to long-term and short-term. Does it sound too good to be true? Well, the point is, we didn't get time to cover everything. I wanted you to get the picture of the and asset as a paper contract that has built-in conservative guarantees that allows your money to grow the rest of your life, that allows you to have access to that money, allows you to have a lot of opportunities in retirement, allows you to protect your number one asset, but then ultimately be able to save more. And in the next video, I'm actually going to break down the math behind just like a $20,000 policy, just to show you.
Right.
But I'm telling you, like, I hope this like open your eyes. So like, if and when you have money, this is the goal, to continue to invest in yourself and grow for the future.
Absolutely. Well, listen, there was so much packed into this video, right? You're probably going to have to watch it like 2 or 3 times, or grab the book, right? I'm sure that you can grab the and asset and check that out, because it'll further explain it. Check out the website, betterwealth.com.
Yep.
That'll explain it even further, and then we are going to do the practicality of this.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into the numbers, because there's some people that want to see the numbers, and I want to give them every opportunity to analyze and be critical about the numbers, because if the numbers don't add up, you shouldn't do it.
Right. Right. If you want more information on Caleb and all the brilliant things that he does, check out more videos on the YouTube channel. If you want to see more of Funny Money, check out our show. If you want to take a break from all the financial stuff and have a good laugh, check out my channel, link below. And I can't wait till we see the numbers on this.
I love it. It's gonna be good.